Welcome to this flipped classroom session, and again this is communication, and today we will work with social integration. And this flipped classroom is based on Rosenbaum-Elliott, that in chapter 4 is telling about cultural meanings, systems and brands. And I just made this one to explain that there's a lot of elements here that we need to integrate when we are talking about social, cultural contexts. And if you can see here in the middle, we have media technologies, and media technologies that can be the mobility, the interaction, and so on. Underneath this one, we have the media context, and that can be the meaning, the relations, the semiology that can be the coding, the denotation, the connotation, and so on. On the left side, we have the media industry, and sometimes we have the government who wants to say something when we work with the media. For instance, if we have China, some places in China, or most of China, you can't have Facebook because the government in China don't want the people to know too much what is happening around the world. It can be the audience, it can be people who is paying for the media, sponsors and so on. If we go to the right side, we have the media users, and that can be you and I using medias, and it depends on how we decode things, it depends on the culture we are in, the economy, the technology and so on. So this is the left and the right side of the media technology, and then in the bottom we have the environment, the culture, that is like having everything integrated. So showing this one is just to tell you that media is not just media, but we have quite many things integrated in this area. Okay, so the first slide we have here is semiotics, and semiotics is many things, but it's mostly how we link science with the rules in the culture and how things are having meaning in the culture. So why do I want you guys to know about this? It's because that when we are working with consumers, we need to have semiotics as a part of the consumer's way of going out, and when they have to choose, when they have to go out and buy things, they are not just buying something, they are choosing among a lot of products, and it's funny how to see why people are choosing as they do. So when we are having semiotics and personal brandings, people like to buy brands to identify themselves, and you can say that they actually are having a kind of relationship with the brand, because they, as I said before, identify themselves and they can identify others. And when people are on the same level and they like mirror themselves in others, we have a kind of relationships. So products and the way that we wear products, that can be clothes, that can be buying an Apple computer. So we group within the way that we are buying things, and in that way we are showing a kind of culture. It can also be the opposite way around, that you are a part of a culture that is buying this specific brand, and then you want to be a part of this culture, and then of course you need to buy this specific brand. So when we are talking about integration, again, if you are having this Apple computer, of course you will be a part of a group. You will be an integrated part of this group. But you can also stand out and then buy a totally another computer, and that's okay in some places, but other places it's not okay. So then you'll be excluded. So this is actually happening everywhere. We are maybe not thinking of it like this, but really people are grouping in many ways. Look at your family. Look at how people are in school. If you have a spare time work job, what do they do there, and so on. Which kind of clothes do they wear? Which kind of computers do they have? Do they have an iPhone, or is it something else? So, to be a part of a group, a social group, and have social relationships, you need to mirror yourself in the products that you are buying. So this is a quite good example, because I think everyone knows Hell's Angels, and those people here, they are wearing this symbol. So everyone around this integrated group, they know exactly who they are. And you can like it or not, but the way that they categorize themselves is that they maybe shave their head, they have maybe tattoos all over, they wear this specific clothes to show everyone around them that they are a part of this group. So you can differentiate yourself in age, in gender, social grouping, and so on. And maybe you wear something so you can signalize that you are a part of and integrated in this group. Again, when we are talking semiotics, we will always have the denotation and the connotation level. The denotation level is where we are just observing. So here we have a woman. She is wearing some fabric. It's blue, it's gray, it's red, and so on. But we really don't know the culture thing and the religious things about this. Then we need to look at the connotation level. And this is where some people understand why the women are wearing this fabric. And some places else in the world, they don't understand it. So here we have the associations, the overtones, the feelings of if we like or don't like women wearing this national dresses. And again, it's up to you. And maybe you have been integrated in a social group where it's okay to wear things like this, or maybe you are against women wearing like dresses like this. So it depends. But this is just for you to understand that when we are talking integration and communication through brands and through stuff, through products, we need to be aware of that everything that we are wearing, everything that we are buying, it's a kind of symbolizing and a kind of mirror of who you are. So how can culture affect and influence our communication? So even though that people are not talking, they will always show who they are in what they are wearing, what they are buying, as I said before, and who they are in the way that they are acting and so on, their behavior. The social status, yeah, again, it depends on who is your parents. Did they have money to give you the fine dress? Did they raise you in the way that you wanted to be integrated in the, like this picture here, the defined community? Or were you more like the poor boys having fun, standing and looking at the others with the hi-hats? So, and when we are talking about trends and talking about fashion, we see this all the time, because we have first movers that are wearing something very strange, but in a year or two, everyone is wearing this, and really, it's just showing that the world are moving, and it's moving very fast. So when we are multimedia designers, having electronic and the way that we work with different stuff, of course we need to be prepared for the world, because it is moving fast, and it's the same with the social status. So if you want to be on the hook, you need to buy the newest things. But of course it depends on what you want to show. Do you want to be the first mover buying the newest stuff, or do you want just to be one of the normal people? But everything you buy, everything you wear, this will show who you are. Taste. Taste is something that it is quite hard to explain, because taste is something that everyone has, but you really don't know why they have it. So taste can be that, today I took this sweater on because I thought this one was nice, but you guys maybe think that it's ugly, and again, it depends on the taste. If we're looking at the Western part of the society, you often see people dressing to show their social taste. If you, for instance, go to India, where everyone is wearing very colorful clothes, again, you will see how they integrate, because some colors are showing some kind of way and which part of the society they are part of. So taste is not an individually preference, but it's a social structure thing. So even though that you maybe like something, you will always be moved or changed by the way that other people's are wearing things or doing things. So here we have gender, and gender is also a part of the way that we understand the world. So some things, and for instance this example here where we have a woman and a motorcycle, this works a little bit better than the man. And of course gender is a part of the way that we are thinking of the world, assuming the world, and so on. So, and of course this is more strong in some societies, and in other communities this is a no-go. So remember the thing I showed you before with the burqa. I don't think this will go in the Arabic countries. The thing is that when we are making brands, we are actually doing this for maintaining our customers, and we hope that they will be a part of a membership where we have a community that is only buying these specific brands. And we see this in neo-tribes and subcultures, and I will come back to this. Brand communities. I took the example here again with the apples because it's so easy to understand. So if you buy apples, you are showing that you are creative, you are doing something with maybe medias, advertisement, and so on. So you want to show the responsibility not only for yourself but also for the community that you are a part of. And if you want to be a true member, you're not only having or owning an Apple computer, but you're also having the iPhone, the iPod. You're only using iTunes and so on. So This is really a way that you put yourself into the community when you are buying only this kind of product. So you are kind of loyal to the community. So the neo-tribes we have here. This is a fragmented and a temporary social group. So for instance, you can like riding on a horse. Maybe you don't do this for your whole life, but this is just a period of time. This is not where you are showing yourself. It can be, of course, you can be sitting on that horse for the rest of your life, but this is not your identity. This is just a part of you. And you can belong to more tribes. You can be skating and sitting on a horse. It doesn't matter. So you can be a part of more communities. But if we're looking at subcultures compared to the neo-tribes, we are having social grouping that is very structured. People want to be a part of this because this is the only right thing. Take for instance the teddy boys, the hippies or the punks. So we have grouping here where this is the only thing. This is your identity. It can be everything from music to fashion to symbolic experience, and this is just the way you are. Other people from outside, they maybe don't understand why you are part of this group, but for you it makes very good sense because it is a part of your identity. Remember again the Hells Angels. This is also a part of a subculture. And they like have their own life, their own rules, their own norms, their own values and so on. So when you are part of this, it's very hard to go out of this group, this culture, because this is like, as I said many times before, it's a way of being a part of a grouping where you mirror yourself in others. Then we have this Aikido brands. And Aikido brands is where you take a brand that is very known and then you like copy paste it into a similar brand, but it's not really that kind of things. For instance, we have the Mecha-Cola, a very good example. Coca-Cola and Mecha-Cola, they are pretty much looking like the same. We have the same colors, we have the same font, and so on. So Coca-Cola were not that huge in the Arabic countries, but then they invented the Mecha-Cola and it got very, very huge because Mecha-Cola, they go and they have this kind of rule that everything you benefit from this Coke, it goes to something voluntary, something nice, maybe children that can't go to school, so they put all the money into this kind of things. And the Arabic countries, they really, really liked this concept. So Mecha-Cola got very huge. And we see this many places. The question is it legal to do this? And in China, they do it a lot. No rules. Or maybe they have some rules, but they are not... They don't think that those rules are important. And here in the Western world, and especially in the US, you got in trouble if you did something like this. But something you can write, sometimes you can write on other experience and others' success. And for instance, and especially the Mecha-Cola did this. So this is pretty much it. I hope you joined this little lesson about social integration, and I look forward to see you guys